We have in the region clear upsurge of religion as a major power and a major factor in the governance of countries. Secularism in the Middle East is in decline at the moment. For a very long time, secularism was succeeding. Today, religion is a major effect in the Middle East. Islam is a major effect. And as a result of that, the historic divide between the Shiites and the Sunnis, the Shia and the Sunnah, this is something which is a major political phenomenon which we have to deal with in the Middle East, which the Middle East has to deal with it as it goes along. So religion is something which has to be contended with, which has to be dealt with. That when it comes to the Palestinian issue, Saudis have been absent almost all the way, and they have not supported the Palestinians with arms. They have not trained them in any form or fashion. They have not participated in warfare against Israel, except nominally in the War of Independence. Saudi Arabia is behind much of what is going on in Syria. Saudi Arabia is supporting the forces who are battling against Assad, battling against the Iranians, battling against the Russians. This is not only a battle between the Saudis and Bashar Assad. This is one of the major battles between the Sunnites and the Shiites in modern-day history. And after many, many years in which this relationship was a latent relationship of enmity, which did not break out into open warfare, now there's open warfare between the Sunnites and the Shiites. We have to be patient. We have to know how to manage the conflicts, how to live with the conflicts, how to be able to turn certain elements of the conflicts into coalitions which would serve our interests, the interests of the Western world, Western democracy, and so forth. There's a lot of work to be done. And as we look at the Middle East, 100 years almost to the day, minus 2 years, in which the United Kingdom played the key role in creating the entirety of the configuration, political configuration of the Middle East, the states, the kingdoms, which groups would be in power and which would not be in power. I think now we have reached the point where all this is now up with a big question mark, and the resolution will not be easy. The lines between the two streams of Islam have been clearly drawn, and the numerical superiority of the Sunnah world, led by Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, as pitted against the Shia minority in the form of Iraq and Iran, is therefore all to see. Although Israel is not in the center of this battle, it could benefit from a Shia defeat. The second element is the generational struggle between religion and secularism, between the rule of the imams and the mullahs as opposed to that of the kings and presidents and military figures, tradition versus modernity, the Quran versus the statute book, women's empowerment versus male supremacy. All these confrontations are coming to a head. In all these areas, Israel is neither a factor nor a player, but here again, as I stated on the first point, we could be a beneficiary if values reflecting free society triumph. The third and most significant ingredient has been the conflict between ideology and religion as opposed to pragmatism, realpolitik on the other. I believe that this will be the most determining element in the current history of the Middle East. It is in this piece of the Middle East jigsaw puzzle that will heavily influence all the others. In this context, we are major players. We have much to offer and much to gain. The Saudi attitude to Jews and Zionism, from hatred to acceptance of reality. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, the Saudis never really helped the Palestinian Arab population in Palestine, either with financial aid, and they have a few finances at their disposal, as you might guess, or significant military support. There are numerous items in the book proving that the Saudis never supported the Palestinian cause with money or arms. Ibn Saud viewed the Palestinian national movements as potential threats to stability in the region. And King Abdullah of today now seeks a swift end to the Palestinian problem as he accepts Israel's legitimacy. This, ladies and gentlemen, again is realpolitik at its best. The Sunnite world is in a hurry to settle the Israel-Arab conflict in order to free itself to face its Shiite foe, its most deadly foe, unfettered. Now, this is our major enemy, who we label an existential threat. Syria is not only a strategic threat to Israel, it is the ultimate test for the Iranian regime in its struggle for hegemony over the Middle East. If it is defeated in Syria and forced to retreat from Damascus, the rollback of the regime will gather momentum. That is why successive prime ministers have viewed the future of Syria as holding the keys to both to regional peace or war. All the roads lead to Damascus, and we must make sure that at the end of the day, Ayatollah Khamenei will use these roads to bring back his defeated armies to home. In order to achieve this, we must do our utmost to support a united front embracing the entire Sunnite world, from Riyadh to Ankara, from Doha to Cairo, and the Palestinian Authority must be inside the tent with Hamas on its side. And in such a circumstance, Prime Minister Erdogan will most certainly join this effort directed against Iran. And if this happens, a member of your board, Dr. Chekhanova, the next event or two, in a year or two, can come here to be one of those hooting Prime Minister Erdogan to receive an honorary doctorate of Bar-Ilan. And we suddenly find that our identity of interest is with the Sunnite world as opposed to the outer world. Iran on the one hand, and for the moment, Turkey on the other hand.